Hi, and this week's episode is all about one little trick which will transform your horsemanship with whatever horse you have for the rest of your life. Go on then, let's show this trick then, Smokes. Come on then, little chap. Right. So, Smokey used to lay down quite a lot about 3 or 4 years ago, and he's forgotten it recently. And the idea is that you turn his head to one side and tap, and he should hold his foot up and keep it up. In that, he knew to hold his foot up, but he's forgotten to keep it up, so eventually I had to sort of go halfway and just help him out a little bit. It's very good, really. What he's been trained to do. There's various ways to get a horse to lay down, and the way that I always choose is to turn their face away and tap the leg, and that means lay down. You can also get them to sit down and then lay down by tapping the back leg. You can also get them to kneel down on both front feet and then lay down, and it goes from there. So yeah, that was sort of halfway house to being trained to lay down, because we're remembering again, aren't we? There we are. You're such a good boy. So, the one trick that will transform your horse riding. Come on, Smoke, get up. You're all dirty now. Come on, get him in. Come on, up, up. Worth it for a mint, isn't it? The one trick that will transform your horse riding. The reason why I did this video was because last week we did a 2-day rider confidence course. As part of the 2-day rider confidence course, we do a rearing section where we teach what you should do and what you should not do when you rear. Bring that into your comfort zone, into your experience zone, and then you're happy with a rear. On the second day, for those that want to, we'll take the saddles off and we'll do a bareback rear. As it happens, everybody who was on the course wanted to do a bareback rear. So it was all jolly good fun, and we all took photos, and I put those photos on Instagram and on Facebook, and it was all very good. Are we in focus? So we put these photos on Instagram and Facebook of people rearing and holding on to the mane so they don't slip backwards, and it gives a little bit of security that you're not going to fall off backwards or indeed slip off. And everybody did really well. It was really good. That picture went around Instagram, and then we got a critique. Somebody said that holding on to the mane would undoubtedly put our horses' backs out. That is quite clearly rubbish, absolute nonsense. So look at the profile of the person who did the critique, and sure enough, she's a horse trainer, she's doing confidence courses, and her profile picture is of a horse rearing. So, whilst she claimed to be a physiotherapist for horses, I'd seriously doubt her abilities if she thinks that pulling on the mane can put horses' backs out. But there you go. To put a comment in a public domain is clearly to build up your own status. So anyway, I'm going to get to the point of this video, and this video is the one simple trick that will improve your horsemanship. Is not laying a horse down, that's ridiculous. The one simple trick is to learn to cope with the critique and the criticism that comes from everybody around you when you're trying to follow a program with your horse. When you get a horse and you come onto the yard and everybody else is, oh, are you hacking yet? Oh, are you jumping yet? Oh, are you doing this yet? Are you doing that yet? And putting the pressure on you to conform to what they're doing. And often I get the question, how do I cope with the negative criticism that surrounds me on my yard. So, look at Smokey, isn't he good? Just pick up this lead rope before we flip over it. How do I cope with the If you can cope with the negative criticism that surrounds you on your yard, you will follow the program that you and your horse needs for you and your horse's best abilities to achieve the goals that you want to do. So the reason why I started off with the horse laying down and the title "This One Trick Will Improve Your Horsemanship" is to show you, undoubtedly, under the comments, people won't be watching the content of this. They will have formed an opinion straight away from the very first couple of seconds, especially if they're watching on Facebook with no sound, where the videos roll automatically. They will have formed an opinion and they will then start to give their opinion. Now, it's very easy for me to do these videos. I've had a great life with horses, and I know through and through that horses are the vehicle to do the things that we want to do on, and you can have great fun and you can achieve your dreams, ride like you've always wanted to. There's a whole exhilarating world out there for you and your horse to enjoy, and you can do that. I know that through and through. So I've got nothing to gain by making these videos apart from passing that on to people who might need it. I can help people with the simplest of things. So I make these videos, I put them out. It makes no difference to me and my business if I put them out or not. And I'm not asking for a critique. I'm not asking for a criticism. I'm not asking for somebody to say, I don't like the way you're doing that, but I get it anyway. The purpose of me revealing this or sharing this with you is to show you that it always comes to everybody. So if you're feeling that people are leaning on the fence, watching you, telling you how you're doing it wrong, and they don't get on their horses ever so much, but nonetheless, if you're feeling put upon in that way, this is normal and this happens. People will critique the fact that I opened the video with laying down a horse. They will critique my steps that I'm doing, the fact that I had to then interfere and lift the horse's leg. They will critique that. There'll be no end. I haven't asked for any of it. This hasn't been, what do you think of this? But there you are, it's going to come in anyway. People won't watch the content. They'll just instantly make the emotional assumptions of what they don't like. They won't even know why they don't like it. They'll just know that they don't like it. If they perceive that there's some sort of insult to their status, that their status is changing, such as the lady who runs a physiotherapy and her profile picture is a horse rearing, and here am I getting lots of attention for horses rearing bareback with people on them, therefore there's a shock in status, she will then make that emotional connection that she doesn't like this, she might not even know why, and then will logically work back as to why she doesn't like it, and then start presenting, I don't like it because this, that or the other. As a physiotherapist, she has never even thought about bareback rearing holding on to a mane before, I promise. She hasn't seen loads of horses coming in and going, oh, here's another one, bareback rearing, pulling hold of their mane again, now his back's out. Never seen it. And yet, with absolute authority in a public space, what she's saying is, notice me, I'm more horsey than him, I'm more horsey, I'm more horsey. And this is what's going to happen in every yard. You're going to lay down again all by yourself? Let's take this off. Really not going to. So, in an attempt to not lose status and appear more horsey than anybody else, people will start to critique even if you haven't asked for it. However, a normal horse on full livery could cost £600 a month, which is nearly £7,000 a year. If you have that horse for 10 years, that's £70,000, £140,000 for 20 years. And if you have more than one horse, and sometimes you have two, and there's a swap over. You, in your lifetime of riding horses, could spend up to £250,000 on one horse. You know, with a changeover, plus you got your rugs and your that's just delivery. You got your rugs and your farrier and on and on and on. Plus the events that you go to and your horse box and everything. This is what you want to do. This is what you want to do. So anybody who sends in a critique and decides to say, you're not doing it the way that I want you to, and I don't want you to leave me behind and my status to be less than you, they haven't paid any of that money. They weren't there doing any of the work. If you decide that actually what I am doing is important to me, and all the people who criticise haven't paid any money, any work, any of the worry, haven't put in anything, and now they're going to turn around and say, I want you to do it like this. Well, if you want me to do it like that, you can pay for the livery, you can pay for the upkeep of the horse, and I'll do it as you want. There we are. So, for example, if you said, I am going to start getting up at 5:30, I am going to be down the stables at 6, which means I get a full hour every morning before work with the arena empty, the people who would perceive as losing status would then start critiquing that you're being unreasonable, that you're not giving your horse a chance to do A, B or C. Are you hacking it yet? Or whatever they're going to say. It would be very unusual for the people on your yard to be like, you're doing really well with that horse, I think I'll start getting up at 6 as well. People who feel they're being left behind will start putting pressure on that, you know, oh, do we have to go on that ride? The jumps are too big, or it's too much for my horse, or I can't canter like this or that, and asking you to stay back. So fundamentally, if you want to get on with your horse, we must be aware that this kind of critique is emotion driven, to do with status of the person watching, and is nothing to do with the exercise that you're doing. Anybody watching this video who is about to write down all the critiques of laying Smokey down is emotionally responding and scared of losing status. It is nothing to do with me laying Smokey down. It is nothing to do with my clients rearing and pulling on. It is nothing to do with the way that I do A, B or C. I know what I'm doing with my horses. It's for me and my purposes. So if you realise that the critiques that you get are nothing to do with what you are doing, the discipline you are following, the goals that you have or the methods that you have to get there, nothing to do with you and what you're doing, and everything to do with the observer fearing that they're losing status and coming to the emotional decision that they don't like what you're doing, and then starting to work backwards to put in a logical argument as to why you're doing it wrong. If you bear that in mind, it will be so much easier to block out all the critiques, do the training that you want to do for the goals that you want to do, and that will serve you well for the rest of your life. Thanks for listening.